Hello everyone, this is Riccardo Mazzini and this is vlog. In this vlog we are playing Rebel Fury. Rebel Fury is the latest game in Mark Herman's series of tactical war games characterized by an interactive activation and then the fact that there are the zones of control and zones of influence, and when units get into a zone of influence of an enemy unit, they have to change formation. Then you can pass, and you have a number of activations. Your enemy has a number of activations, and the same for combat. We all know that system. Mark introduced us to that system with Gettysburg on C3I, and then Waterloo Campaign. Other designers have also made titles with this system. Ray Wise for the CSL, with Mark and Koniggratz. And also now on the latest C3I issue, the 40 and with Dan Foreign with Baetis on the Second Punic War, taking us back to the ancient times. But Rebel Fury is Mark Herman's latest incarnation and revision and calibration of the system. I think this is the most complete and mature incarnation, by at least among those by Mark Herman himself, of the system. So this is a multi-game about 6 battles of the American Civil War, and I'm going to explain you some of the features of the characteristic of this game in respect with others of the series. So I assume that you already have a familiarity with the series, with the system, and so we will get briefly, very shortly, on the different features between these and other games of the with the same system. The first fact is that this game has many more, I don't know if details, yes, details possibly, but many more refinements. Maybe this is better than the commanders. Then they can be in battle, or okay, for example, here we have brag. They can be in battle or maneuver mode. We had already Waterloo and others, but the behavior of the units regarding the command mode is different. It is not so easy once you have got them in battle mode to take them back in maneuver mode, and so they also have a higher influence on what you can place or not. Also the management of the detachments. There are a lot of more tactical nuances. Why? Because the scale is different. We are no longer dealing with operational battles. We are back to tactical battles like we had in Gettysburg, but we have many more counters than what we had in Gettysburg. Why? Because the counters no longer represent entire corps, but divisions. The very term of division is a bit abstract here, because there are some oscillations in the representation, and they are more symbolic. There are then directly representation of those units, but the scale, really, I think that this is the best scale for the system. Or you go full operational like you went with Waterloo Campaign on the C3I, but that was entirely different scale. At this scale, this means that this game introduces many more tactical nuances. For example, a special die for retreat, for specific types of retreats. And either your formation, your unit retreats in a orderly way, or it is blown, for example. But we also have the greatest change of all. The combat system is no longer I roll one or plus simple differential of dice, but we have a very, I wouldn't say, sophisticated, a very deep CRT like this one, and with the intersections of different results. Not so many modifiers, but more refined, absolutely more refined, and this is really changes everything in the game. Yeah, the artillery, ammo, and management is the same, but we also have, as you can see from these markers, fieldworks, entrenchments, pontoon bridges, ghost detachments, that are special detachments that you have in entrenchments, and mandatory attacks, many more, many leader casualties, much more stuff, forts, and other tactical nuances that are very, very interesting. Oh, and one thing about the counters, you will see that there are spares for turn and functional markers. This means that with one box, you just have to find a way to keep track of some values like the turn number, etc. You can play with one box 3 scenarios simultaneously. This means that this is a very cost-effective game for game groups or clubs, because with one box you can play 3 different scenarios at the same time. And this is a highly regarded, a very appreciated choice by GMT, absolutely. So the scenarios, we have 3 maps, and on every map there are 2 battles of the American Civil War. We have Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville. Fredericksburg is a special solo scenario. Yeah, this is not the greatest solo-friendly title in the world, but we have one scenario that is especially dedicated to solo playing, just to familiarize with the system. We have said Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville. Oh, and for Chancellorsville, we also have a special, very special off-map display. So we have a bit of operational stuff here. You can change the entry points of some troops, another great detail. And also we have a Chickamauga, as you see here, that is considered the introductory scenario to the system, but there is a lot of methods in this scenario. Chattanooga. And then we have another map with the Wilderness and Spotsylvania. Mark is already working on volume 2 of the series with other battles of the American Civil War, and he is considering the possibility of translating once again back this system, but with this more tactical, skill, once again to Napoleonic times, possibly with some scenarios on the Peninsular War, the Peninsular Campaign, but okay, we will see. The great fact is, however, that as you will see, there are not many counters. This is my way of managing counters. These letters are for the single scenario. This means that, for example, for Chattanooga, we have 22 counters for the US and 19 counters for the Confederates. A bigger scenario like as Spotsylvania has 32 counters for the US and 24 for the Confederates. These are incredibly low number of counters for for gaming sessions that last, I think, 2 hours for Chickamauga for this average scenario, 3 hours maybe for Spotsylvania and the bigger scenarios. That's it. But this system, and especially this incarnation, one will say, okay, this is introductory, this is a simple game, it's very nice, but it's not so detailed, not so sophisticated, and you will be dead wrong. Because this is a very sophisticated game, this is a very deep and dense game. The fact is that the rule set is so elegant, so streamlined, that all the complexity is not in the rule system, even with those greater details, but on the strategic decisions, on the natural decisions made by the players. And yes, in this game, putting one commander in battle or maneuver mode, and after that on one X or on the other, even if they are adjacent X, has a terrible mountain of different consequences of variables. And here we see that Mark Herman is a chess master, recognized chess master, official chess grandmaster, and there is a bit of chess-like here. One movement, I make this opening, and you have this reaction. So I make this counter reaction and move this other unit here, and this means that my unit gets into battle formation. But I wanted that because I wanted to create a spot location here. This is it is hard for me to explain it in English even more, but this is a very common impression that you get from playing this system, and in particular this title of the system with this tactical, very tactical approach, because, well, in a conversation with Mark Herman on X, Twitter, or call it whatever you like, Mark told, I was trying this scenario and said, okay, I made something wrong, some bad choices, I mean, some real mistakes. It was my first time with this specific title. But even that, I said, but I see the lines of battle, the battle lines, the contact zones forming before my eyes, and there's a lot of sense that they are forming in this way, in this location, considering the choices that I made, even if they're very bad choices. I don't see some weird stuff. Okay, something is weird, but after that, at the end of the turn, everything has sense, is sensible. Of course, you have a line of battle on this point with these units, and even with these results, these variable results. And Mark said to me, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted with this system. I wanted to have battle lines form up on the gaming table, on the map, in an organic way. This is a very important term, organic. This means that you are not making decisions and you are not forming battle lines because I need this +1 or this +2, or I need a 3-to-1 instead of 4-to-1 force ratio, etc., as you do in classical wargaming. No, you are making decisions and you are seeing the results of these decisions essentially based on your inner intuitive decisional process. That is not a mechanical feeling. Everything happens because of course, if I have this position, for example, between Missionary Ridge, this pass between these two pieces of Missionary Ridge, because as a Confederate I have to get Chattanooga, of course there will be a battle line here, and of course it will form in this way if I set Bragg in battle mode, or in this other way if I set him in maneuver mode, and you see that forming up because you have a first contact on one point, and then this becomes a magnet, so everybody, naturally, they're attracted to this point, to this crisis point, and then it all forms up very, very naturally. And it is amazing to see that even more than in the operational title. And it really transports you into the battle. You are no longer a general with a CRT in one hand. Oh, should I attack here? No, I will attack there because here I will have 2-to-1, or here I'll have a column shift, so it is better that I attack in this position. No, you say, it is better because I attack in this position because of course I have to gain a breakthrough here. And this is something that I sometimes, even frequently in some cases, experienced in other wargames with this system, with this skill, with Rebel Fury, in my experiments, in my test games. Well, I experienced this organic impression, this natural impression, every single time that I played it. Every single time, every single test. It is amazing, really. It is amazing what Mark has created that looks so close to classical wargaming, but also so different than classical wargaming, so innovative. You even have to unlearn something of your classical wargaming, because, for example, with the command radius and all the work, you say, okay, now I make this genius move here, but you realize that you cannot do that, because your commander is in battle mode, not in maneuver mode. For example, your commander is on one side of the map, so everybody is going to that side of the map. Either you like it or not. It's happening, it's beyond your control. And it's really something amazing and something very peculiar of this game. Another thing, okay, let's get more practical. The graphics, they have changed. Last Citra issue, there are also units counters to change it. You don't have a more singular silhouette, but you have these lines of troops that and more here in battle mode, and you might think, oh, how could I do if I use the game solo? But you can easily rotate, because there is no facing, so it is also almost a miniature feel to it. And also I really like it. You don't have so many values on the counters, so they are easy to see. The only thing, and Grant Wiley from Washington already said that on BTG to Mark. You see the core designation, they are different, of course, but they're all in black. They have a black background, and so can be a bit difficult to distinguish them. And so, yeah, and Mark recognized it. Mark Herman recognized it, and possibly on the next title they will have different color codes. Sometimes they get a bit too much shuffled around. There are rules for a bonus for adjacencies that are very important. So yeah, this is really a very, very minor quibble. The components, they're great. So as I said, what I really like with this system is, once again, you get so many small details, so many small tactical details. When should I use artillery, when not? I have limited ammo. When should I recall this detachment? I place it here. No, I should place it there. And so all those small things, but they have a great consequence over the final result of the battle. And the final result of the battle, well, you get the impression that it went well or it went bad, not because you made a bad choice because of the mechanics of the game, but because you made a bad tactical choice. It is very, very important. So this organic impression really translates into every single component of the game. It really gives you a very peculiar experience, even more than other titles of the series. I felt that a bit in Waterloo Campaign. Now, as I said in Rebel Fury, it's always like that. It is very clear, even clearer. The representation is very fluid, very dynamic, with changes of tempo, operational tempo, attrition, continuous oscillations. It's very different from everything you have ever tried. And this is a bit of an unforgiving game, because you make 2 or 3 mistakes and you really pay them. But also your opponent can do it. It is very easy in this game to make stupid choices, because you just don't have easy and rational mathematical calculations. You have to go on your intuition, you have to go on your guts, on your feelings, and so you can make wonderful decisions on one, or incredibly devastatingly bad decisions. But also your opponent will be able to do that. We'll have to do that. Of course, this is a game I think that gives its best in 2 players. It is possible to play it solo. Maybe, for example, for artillery, if you are undecided, should I use it or should I not? Or you roll die, etc. But also the openings are a bit restrictive, especially at the beginning. So it is best to play that with 2 players, except the dedicated solo Fredericksburg scenario. Anyway, even solo, even more in 2 players, this is a great game. 2 to 3 hours maximum gaming length for a rule set that you will learn in 15 minutes, 10 minutes if you already played the other games with this system. Fantastic. I can only say fantastic and very accurate and plausible historical results. What you will see on the map will always make sense, which is very important for a war game. So this is a great title, very classic and at the same time very original, very innovative. If you're a wargamer, it is a good title to have in your collection. If you are an American Civil War wargamer, as I am, you really have to at least try it. But I think that after you have tried it, because you will be convinced to have it in your collection, because simply there is not anything like that. And I think that this system, once again, Mark has opened a new door for wargaming. And I'm really eager to see other interpretations by Mark himself and other designers of this approach, because yes, it is highly fascinating. It's very, very nice, very good approach. This is Rebel Fury. Thanks for having me here, being with me. As always, have fun, have a great time, take care, and really, even more here, don't fear. It's just war games. Ciao.